Happy Monday to all of you, my awesome viewers, subscribers, fans. Hope you're ready for another installment of the GB Cast. Untouchable Raider, Ben, Sinister, Ramking, what is happening? Hope y'all are having a great Monday. We got a few things to talk about today. Let's see, we'll talk about a little bit of the acquisition and being approved for Microsoft's takeover of Bethesda and their parent company ZeniMax. Comic-Con canceled, along with some Star Wars High Republic information. And some other stuff, too, we're going to talk about. Plus, whatever topics you want to bring up, feel free to do so. And we're going to go over, just like we do every GBcast, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. UK. Video games, TV shows, sci-fi, news, movies, etc., comics, and more. So whatever you want to talk about today, just let me know in the live chat, and we'll bring it up. So Luke's here. What's up, Luke? How's it going? Good to see you. So my day's been okay so far. I went to the gym this morning, worked out, and ran a couple of errands. Had to throw some bills in the mailbox. It's always nice paying those bills, right? Pay them bills, because if you don't, then the utilities get cut off. I don't know why that happens. It's like they expect me to pay for things like electricity, running water, natural gas, for heating. So it's just one of those things you get to do once a month. And I'm old-fashioned. Like there's one or two things I have like auto pay, but a lot of other things I like using a check. I know. And some of you are like, GB, what's a check? What's this checkbook you're talking about? Untouchable Raider, so your wisdom tooth pain is gone, but I'm getting it pulled out this week. Okay, well, that's probably for the best, Untouchable Raider. I mean, the pain can come and go, but there's probably still issue there with the wisdom tooth, and it's only going to get worse. So even though right now you may not be in any pain, and I'm glad you're not, it's still problematic. So obviously that wisdom tooth needs to go. But I hope for the duration of its existence in your mouth, it causes no more trouble, but it's still problematic. Devil Dog's here. What's up, Devil Dog? And UG Outlaw. Howdy, UG Outlaw. How you doing today? And Canadine. Hey, Canadine. How you been? Haven't seen you in a while. Heartless is here. Hey, Heartless. How you doing on this Monday? Hope you all are well. So, yeah, going to the gym. I had to pick up a few cans of cat food for my older cat from the pet store. And then I had to drop a few things in the good old mailbox. Because, see, the mailman, or mail person, I'm sorry, will deliver the mail to me. However, they won't take the mail from me, right? So if I have mail to send out, they won't take it. So I literally have to take it down the street to a mailbox. I mean, it's not really a big deal since I rarely use it. John Steve, what's up, John Steve? How's it going? I see Rasper's here as well. That is the wisdom of GB. What wisdom do you refer to, Rasper? Hello, Rasper. Untouchable Raider, yeah, no. Okay, yeah, just eat smart. Just try to, if you can, try to chew on the side of your mouth that the wisdom teeth is not on. That way it improves your chances of not having some, wincing pain, which will acquire whenever you have issues. Fun fact, I mentioned this over the weekend when we were talking about this. I've had 4 wisdom teeth taken out. Had them all taken out at the same time. But a few years ago, I started having issues right here. Turns out I needed a root canal, so that was a lot of work. So they went right in, they numbed it and stuff. Unlike the wisdom teeth, they actually put me under to remove all 4 wisdom teeth. But for the root canal, I was still awake, but they did numb me and stuff. So yeah, I heard him working in there, it was like, I just having to keep my mouth open, trying to think about other things, because I always have like a bazillion things going on in my mind anyway. So I'm just putting myself somewhere else while this fun is happening in my mouth. Wasn't really fun, but they get the first work done. They get the root canal done. They put in, I guess, the temporary crown. And I felt like whenever they finally got the permanent crown molded, like I felt like that was worse, in my opinion. What I went through when they were putting in the permanent crown was worse than the root canal itself. I mean, that's just my opinion about it. I mean, some people may feel differently, but I mean, I'm glad it got done because it needed to get done because it was like all nasty and stuff and it was disgusting. I was like, ugh, how the hell did that happen? Joys of getting older. And that's why it's important to have good dental hygiene, brush your teeth and all that stuff. But even if you do, it still could happen. So if there's any issues, it's always best to go to the dentist at least once or twice a year. Because my sister and her husband are dentists, and I haven't gone recently because of the bug and the fact that they live like 6 hours away. So my dentist is not happy with me right now. And when your dentist is also your baby sister, ooh, it's not a good combo. Samari, what's up, Samari? How are you doing? Good to see you. Heartless, my wisdom teeth grew in crooked, and they cause cavities. Yeah, that's why they have to be removed. Now, prior to that, I actually, when I was in my teens, had molars removed because the molars were causing issues. So I think I had like 4 molars removed. But we had those done separately. Like we had them done, I think, 2 at a time, I believe, if I remember correctly. And the idea from my dentist back in East Texas, because I grew up in East Texas, his theory was that the wisdom teeth would simply just grow in and take those molars' place. However, that didn't work out so well. A few years later, when wisdom teeth, do what wisdom teeth do. And so it was all for naught. So not only did I have some molars removed, years later I had to have wisdom teeth removed. So that was great. Fantastic. Wonderful. Samari question, favorite Alien or Terminator? I got to go with Terminator. I mean, I do like Sigourney Weaver, okay? I mean, I know James Cameron has his regrets about Sigourney Weaver running around in underwear, but it's underwear. James Cameron, okay, it's underwear. People wear underwear, but I mean, she was still strong, heroine, and I respect Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley, but she's still a woman, though. I mean, you can still look. There's nothing wrong with looking. Let's see. Luke says I had 4 teeth taken out when I was younger. My mouth was small to fit my teeth in. I'm sorry to hear that, Luke. That sucks. But once again, like Sarah Connor, strong woman, right? And they both, Ripley and Sarah Connor, represents the ideal, like, strong woman that you want to see on theaters. They're flawed. They have issues, just like we all do. But they both go through a hero's journey. They go from not necessarily being a hero, just like anyone else, to eventually rising above the challenges that they face against the odds. Because they're both smart, they're both determined, and eventually they both prevail. Just like with the hero's journey. And that's something that's always fascinated me when it comes to literature, is the hero's journey. Whether it's a male character or a female character. All right, so let's get going. We got quite a few articles to tackle today. We're going to go all over the place like we usually do. Some gaming stuff, some comic stuff, Star Wars, High Republic. Oh, boy. And after all these years, we finally have a sequel to Space Jam. Is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? I'm guessing it's a sequel, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Some controversy revolved around a certain bunny, and we'll give you my thoughts about that in a few minutes. Plus, apparently, Rust is finally coming to console. I'm sure some of you Rust fans some of you that have been waiting for Rust to come to console are excited about that. And we got some Ghost of Tsushima news coming up later. Unfortunately, spoilers, it's not any, as far as I know, it's not any Ghost of Tsushima content or sequel information, but it is a cool story, though. It is a pretty cool story that I want to talk about near the end of the stream. But I do appreciate all of you being here today. We're going to get started, and if you are enjoying the GBcast, a like is always greatly appreciated. Thank you so much to all of you, my awesome viewers, subscribers, fans, as well as our mods who do an awesome job modding, as always, along with our Super Chat heroes for March 2021 with their pots o' gold. Look, it's not exactly the same pot of gold as last year. I added a clover to it. See, look in the background. It's a 4-leaf clover. Like, last year's didn't have a 4-leaf clover. There's a difference. No, I'm not being lazy. Poppycock. Dark MatterWolf, what's up, Dark MatterWolf, who's one of our junior members. By the way, speaking of members, they include my very good friend Azralynn. One day I'm going to have Azralynn on the show, so Az, if you're lurking in the background, one day you're going to hop up here as a guest, and we're going to just talk about a wide variety of topics you want to talk about. So I'm going to have guests eventually, whether it's my good friend Azralynn, Carrick over at ACG, one of the best reviewers of video games on YouTube, along with Mike Lambert. Other members, the elite members, include my good friend UG Outlaw. Maybe he'll be a guest one day. Belfast Gamer, Will, MeltNet, and honorable mentions to our junior members, ToykoTent, Conor, DeForest Smith, Dark MatterWolf, who is in the chat, along with Huttch Plays. I think he's streaming some, was it Far Cry Primal, I think. I think that's what he was streaming over on Twitch. Tommy Angelo Jr., Fat Chinese Gaming, along with Brett, Ramking. He's starting to do a little bit of streaming as well, a little Red Dead Online, so I wish him the best of luck with that. And our newest junior member, Antonio Aristotle. Junior members, elite members, and March 2021 Super Chat heroes going above and beyond for the GeauxBurns Nation. All right, so Fat has arrived. I cannot talk today. Happy International Women's Day. Well, happy International Women's Day to all my female viewers out there. Red's here as well. Hello, Red, the 8-bit dinosaur. UG Outlaw says, I'm Irish and I approve of the pot of gold. See, I'm glad I got your approval. I'm very glad about that. All right, so let's start things off with the acquisition by Microsoft of Bethesda and their parent company, ZeniMax. So the EU has approved it. So Xbox, obviously in competition with PlayStation, and Sony has all these developer studios, including Sucker Punch, which made Ghost of Tsushima, and a few others you may have heard of. So obviously, going into the Xbox Series S and X, Microsoft is trying to up their games, trying to make it to where they can get up there on par with Sony's unique IPs as well. So it's a big reason why Microsoft has been putting out the cash lately to try and make some acquisitions. Their biggest one to date has been Bethesda and their parent company studio. So this is from, by the way, VGC, VideoGamesChronicle.com. Got a few of their articles we're going to go over today. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit and not go from like one source, but multiple sources. But Xbox firm can now move closer to completing the proposed acquisition. The European Union's antitrust regulators have approved Microsoft's proposed $7.5 billion acquisition of ZeniMax. It has been announced the EU cleared the acquisition without concessions during the preliminary review on Monday. It's the latest sign that the deal is moving closer to completion. Last week, private equity firm Providence Equity Partners, which owns 25% of ZeniMax, removed the company from its website portfolio. The United States SEC also published a notice of effectiveness signaling that ZeniMax's new registration statement has been accepted. The EU said in a statement, the European Commission has approved under the EU merger regulation the acquisition of ZeniMax Media Incorporated by Microsoft Corporation. The Commission concluded that the proposed acquisition would raise no competition concerns, given that the combined entity's limited market position upstream and the presence of strong downstream competitors in the distribution of video games. The transaction was examined under normal merger review procedure. The European Union's competition laws is the most influential in the world alongside the United States' own antitrust regulations. So this thing is happening. The takeover is in process. Microsoft announced its intention to acquire ZeniMax Media and its game publisher Bethesda Studios for $7.5 billion last September, and the deal, which is expected to complete sometime this year. Microsoft acquisition of ZeniMax will see the Xbox Game Studios grow from 15 to 23 development studios, employing some 2,300 staff worldwide. Xbox Softworks studios include Bethesda Game Studios, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, ID Software, which does Doom, ZeniMax Online Studios, which does Elder Scrolls Online, Arcane, which does Dishonored along with Prey, Machine Games, which does Wolfenstein. I think Machine Games is also confirmed to be working on the new Indiana Jones game. I think that came out, not too long ago. So I'm very interested in Machine Games' work on the next Indiana Jones game. Tango Gameworks, The Evil Within, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios. So quite a few development studios under the ZeniMax Bethesda umbrella that are going underneath the Microsoft umbrella. Microsoft could reportedly hold Bethesda's theme event as soon as this month, should its acquisition deal close in time. Head of Xbox Phil Spencer recently said he believes that Bethesda's development teams will be very, very critical to the future of the Xbox platform. Discussing Xbox plans for 2021 in the Xbox podcast published in December, Spencer said he was excited to finally complete ZeniMax's acquisition, quote, so that we can start working like one company. I'm excited for 2021, and Bethesda is an important part of that, he said. 2021 is when we get final approval. I feel really good about that. Everything is on track. We'll start then really getting to some of the planning that we can do with them. Right now, we're really hands-off with them as they continue to do work that they're doing because we don't own them yet. Well, that does make sense, Phil. That makes sense. But they're about to own ZeniMax and Bethesda and all the other studios and IPs lock, stock, and barrel. So let's talk about your thoughts regarding this acquisition going through. All right, so Ben says, I thought they already acquired them months ago. Well, they're in the, it's not as simple as, say, like, this one small company being bought by a little bit larger company. You have, two really huge companies here. Like, yeah, Microsoft, which is, they're one of the biggest in the world, not just Windows, but also the Xbox console, etc. And then, of course, you have ZeniMax, which, as we just went over, they own quite a few studios, including Bethesda. So, yeah, that's kind of a big deal. And it also does bring up concerns of like monopoly, trust issue. And so that's why you have the European Union in both the United States. They have to go through this process of checks and balances, and they have to review it, and they have to determine whether or not, in their opinion, that this acquisition, is this merger, is this takeover, quote unquote, legal. But in the words of Darcidius, I will make it legal. Yuji Outlaw says it's good for Microsoft, but Bethesda, I'm not so sure. I don't know. I think it could be good for Bethesda because, Bethesda's been having issues. They've been having a lot of issues, as some of you know. Their engine that they've built both Fallout and Elder Scrolls on has seen better days, and they need to do a massive overhaul of that engine. And they have that lawsuit we talked about last week, and I'm sure that lawsuit will have to be resolved. I'm pretty certain that Microsoft wants to get that nonsense out of the way. So I'm sure that there'll be a settlement when it comes to the lawsuit over. Heartless knew a little bit more about it last week, but it was regarding a violation of the pass for Fallout 4, and it's probably going to be settled. And a lot of us, I guess, that got the pass, whether we were aware of this or not, at the very least, we'll probably get our money back or some sort of financial gain. But at the end of the day, it's the law firms that will benefit the most, obviously, from that. They're the ones that will get most of that money. Heartless, I agree, Heartless. I think it is good for Bethesda because, some people have had issue with Fallout 76 and the direction that Bethesda has been going for a while. And not only that, but several of the other studios within Bethesda. Like, there's several people that weren't happy with the latest, Wolfenstein. People love the new Doom game. So there's some studios under Bethesda that are doing great. And then there's some studios that need some help and need some improvement. And it's going to be interesting going forward to see what is going to be exclusive to Xbox and what Microsoft is going to simply just allow to either go over on Sony day one or maybe a few months later. So the next Elder Scrolls, which we were patiently waiting for more than that teaser that came out a long time ago. Maybe we'll get another teaser this year, right? Maybe we'll get a second teaser for Elder Scrolls 6. And when that comes out, the question is, will Elder Scrolls 6 be exclusive to the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S and maybe PC? Or will they eventually port it over to Sony? It's an extremely popular franchise. And I think if I was Phil Spencer, I would probably do it like that because, eventually, if you're going to, you want to sell as many... obviously, his focus is selling the consoles, right? Getting people to buy the Xbox Series S and Series X, as well as Game Pass and all that stuff. But whenever you own development studios that are making video games, you also want to sell the video games. So there are some IPs that will always be exclusive to Xbox. And that's because, Sony has so many popular IPs that are exclusive to that console, to the PS4 and PS5. But at the same time, there's some of these established franchises that, they may want to consider eventually, maybe like 3-6 months later, porting it over to the PS5, like, the next Elder Scrolls game. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see, Jeremy. Let's see. How you doing, Jeremy? Good to see you. Let's see, Ugella says, my wife loves Fallout 4, but 76 she thought was a disaster. Heartless and others that have been playing Fallout 76 have informed me that Fallout 76 has improved. And if that's true, I'm very happy to hear that. It's very similar to what Red tells me and shows us during his live streams regarding No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has come a long way since launch. And I guess you could say the same is true for Fallout 76. I wish I could say the same was true for Red Dead Online. But at the moment, the jury's still out on that. Ben says, I think that in an interview, Phil said it was the exclusivity was going to be on a case-by-case basis. So it's not 100%. I do remember that interview, Ben, by the way. Thanks for reminding me. So, yeah, Phil did say that it was going to be case by case. So not every IP is going to be exclusive only to the Xbox Series S and X. There will be some that they will maybe not at launch, but eventually port over to PS5. But you can't really blame them for making, a few of those exclusive to the Xbox Series S and X, because at the end of the day, they are in competition with Sony. And Sony does have their exclusive titles, like, for example, Uncharted, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, Event Horizon, that other game. Yeah, they've got a few games, 1 or 2 games exclusive to Sony that is never going to make it over to Xbox, even if there's plenty of Xbox fans that would love to play Ghost of Tsushima on some of the other games as well. So that's unfortunately not happening. I mean, there's a lot of us that would love to have Zelda games and Mario games and Smash Brother games on, the Xbox and on the PlayStation. But do you think Nintendo is ever going to allow that? No. Anyway, so let's move on to the next article. We're going to stick with VGC and more about Xbox. We have a little bit more Xbox information since we're talking about Xbox. We might as well just stick with this topic for the moment. Let me, there we go, put that down. All right, so I'll get back to your chat in a moment. Once again, this is from VGC, VideoGamesChronicle.com. I felt like this was a good segue, talking about the Microsoft acquisition of ZeniMax Studio and Bethesda, because this also has to do with Microsoft and the Xbox consoles, and I thought this was pretty fascinating. All right, so Xbox console's new web browser will be able to run Google Stadia. So congratulations to the 35, maybe 36 people that are still playing on the Stadia. Golf clap for you. Hooray. Especially if you have an Xbox Series X or S. Microsoft starts public test for its Edge, Chromium-powered browser console. I'm tongue-tied. All right, so let's continue. Google Stadia can now run on the Xbox consoles via Microsoft's public test for the new engine, Chromium-powered browser. Powered browser, say that a few times. As reported by The Verge, Xbox testers in the Alpha Skip Ahead group can now access the updated Microsoft Edge web browser on Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X consoles. Thanks to the improved compatibility support with Chromium, the browser will run Google Stadia streaming service and allow Xbox console players to access its library of cloud games. But who really cares? Except for, like I said, about maybe 40 people to still play on the Stadia. As noted in the video, by Brad Sams, the browser could even allow console players to stream games to their console via Microsoft's own xCloud. Now, from what I hear over the years, like, Microsoft's xCloud is far superior to what that Google was trying to do with Stadia, as well as what Sony was trying to do with PlayStation Now. So I feel like xCloud is the premier, the idea of where you want to go when it comes to the future of streaming video games. All right, so the new Xbox X browser could improve compatibility with services like Skype or Discord through the web. Nice. That's pretty cool because I happen to have a Discord, so I like that. Microsoft has announced plans to launch cloud gaming with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for PC and iOS devices. Really? Huh. In the spring of 2021. So that's happening soon. Currently, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members in 22 countries can play over 100 games on Android devices via cloud using a compatible controller. About 20 of these games are also supporting touch controls. Xbox head Phil Spencer said that the company is working to bring Xbox Game Pass streaming to consoles too. Yes, we want to do that, he said last year. It's in a long list of cool things the xCloud team is working on. It's just a bit further down the list, but we want console and PC players to be able to browse as easily as mobile players. It's a good Game Pass feature. So xCloud could very well be the future. So we'll see how it goes. But at the same time, I kind of feel like Stadia is a lost cause. I mean, so what? I mean, maybe Stadia has a few exclusive games, but at the same time, the library that the Xbox has for Xbox Game Pass is far superior. So I really don't know how that's going to play out. But I'm guessing Google and Microsoft, maybe some money is going back and forth between the two. I don't know. So let's go back to the comments real quick before we move on to the next topic. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. I got cluttered right there, Samari. I apologize. Jeremy, you hate Fallout. You hate Final Fantasy. Like, Jeremy, is there any games you do like? Look, we have a right to hate and dislike games. There's plenty of games I don't like. You know, to each their own. UG Outlaw, Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, Spider-Man, God of... Yeah, those are some big ones. Like Spider-Man right now and under Insomniac. Yeah, that's something I'm sure a lot of people on Xbox would love to play. God of War as well. So, yeah, I mean, obviously it makes sense with all these exclusive titles that Sony has that Microsoft wants exclusive titles too, you know, and they don't really have as many. So they're obviously trying to grow that library of exclusive games. Fire, what's up, Fire? One idea I could suggest for future stream is a discussion of canceled titles ever wanted. You know, Fire, that's not a bad idea, actually. So, I mean, eventually I will... You know what? In the GBcast room in our Discord, by the way, we have an awesome Discord. I mean, that's cool. Just, you know, throw a list there. And we could definitely do that in a future episode and talk about some games that were announced that some of us were excited about and never became a reality. Or the wait was so fucking long that by the time the game came out, like the last Duke Nukem, it turned out to be a hot mess. UG Outlaw, Stadia, sorry, I can't stop laughing. Right? Exactly. Well, see, UG says, sorry, but Stadia was... Yeah, it's dead on arrival. I don't know if that's really going to make a difference, to be honest, for Stadia's survival going forward, because even if there were a few exclusive games to Stadia, I mean, was any of them like major hits? Was any of them like a Zelda or like a Mario or like a Ghost of Tsushima or like a Halo? I doubt it. So I've always felt, this is my running theory regarding Stadia, because, you know, Google's a huge company, right? Google's huge. They're huge. UG, no space. And it's all lower cases. All lower cases. It's a thought that counts. But I always felt like Stadia was nothing more than a tax write-off by Google, because they have so much money and they just have all this money to burn. And I think they throw themselves into projects they know are going to fail. And I think Stadia was one of them. And they're like, well, we could just write it off, you know? So what, it fails? It's a tax write-off for us. Because in the end, I don't really feel like they put as much effort into like Google Stadia as they could. And I always felt like it was a dumb idea from the start, especially since they didn't have the infrastructure like Microsoft has been building for streaming. Like the xCloud, I hear really, really good things about the xCloud compared to what Stadia had in place. I mean, from the controller looking like crap to the games that they provided. Ben says Stadia already closed their game studios. Exactly. They already did that. And I think there's been some controversy about a couple of those game studios. My coffee's cold. Blah. Don't you hate it whenever your coffee's cold? I had to finish it off to move on to my smoothie. Yeah, there was a few Stadia exclusives, Heartless, but they weren't big studios. They were kind of like these indie studios, and Google just, I guess they bought them up because they saw potential in them. And these smaller studios, obviously desperate for cash in order to, make their project a reality, they hopped on board, but they didn't realize that they were hopping on board a doomed vessel. The Titanic, the Stadia. It's all good, UG Outlaw. So I will send you a list of the commands. It's something I need to do, but I'll do that. But Riley's here. Hello, Riley. I hope you are having a good Monday along with everybody else. And we're going to move on now from talk of Microsoft and Xbox and Stadia to comics. And we'll do some more video game talk in a little bit. And by the way, if there's any hot topic out there right now that you want to discuss, feel free and leave it in the chat, whether it's gaming related, comics related, sci-fi, TV shows, movies, etc. You get the idea. All right, so we're going to talk about Comic-Con 2021. So last week, we talked about how E3, for the most part, was canceled except for the quote-unquote live streaming shows, which at the end of the day does not really help tourism when it comes to Los Angeles, which is where you have E3 take place. And the booths are not being rented out, so that's less money in E3's pocket. No merchandise being sold, and the vendors, which sell like food and drinks, etc., that's not being sold. Money is not being made at E3 this year, despite them trying to make it a live event, which makes no sense. Samari says, hello, Riley. And we all say hello. And Riley's going to go deal with the doggo. We'll have fun with Rai. Y'all have fun. All right, so Comic-Con is officially canceled. As you may be aware, due to certain public health and safety, San Diego Comic-Con has been canceled, both of its in-person events in 2021, and recently announced that our spring 2021 show, WonderCon in Anaheim, will also be canceled. In its place, WonderCon at Home will once again be held as a free online event March 26th and March 27th of this month. It is the policy of the organization to continue to closely monitor information from local and national healthcare officials as it pertains to the bug, and never could we have imagined what would have been experienced in 2020 and continues to experience today. While we are, let me find some more information. We don't need to go about that. All right. Unfortunately, the challenges of this past year, multiple postponements of our two largest events, have left us with limited financial resources. So this year, the online experience will be reduced to a 3-day event. So this is not only hurting E3 and other venues, probably PAX as well and Gamescom, but obviously this is going to hurt Comic-Con. While we lament the postponement of in-person Comic-Con, our commitment to this community of fans and celebration of comics and the related popular arts endures as an important part of who we are. As the timing of the scope of our larger event factored greatly into our decision to postpone, we believe that launching a smaller in-person event at a later time might be a safe alternative. For this reason, we are happy to announce that San Diego Comic-Con is planning to present a 3-day in-person convention in San Diego in November. So this was kind of deceptive, and I didn't intend on that being clickbait. Oof. But it was the Anaheim WonderCon that was canceled. So it looks like it's being postponed. So I will correct that in the live chat. It's not really a big deal. I'll correct it later. Apologies. But so it's being moved back to, November. And I guess that does make sense to postpone it. That way, there's still a hope that it could actually be, have people come, tourism to San Diego, booths being rented out, merchandise being sold, vendors. Same deal with E3. The hope that Comic-Con could financially survive 2021. At this time, we are still working on specific details as to attendance capacity, badge costs related to information, and those details will be forthcoming. See, if you want more information, go to Comic-Con's website. By the way, this is at Comic-Con's website, comiccon-con.org, for official updated information as it becomes available. At this time, individuals who have purchased badges that were rolled over 2021 show have those badges automatically transferred to 2022. So anyone that bought badges for 2021, those badges have been pushed to 2022 in the hopes that there actually will be a Comic-Con 2022. I guess we'll see how this goes. So not canceled. WonderCon was kind of sort of canceled in Anaheim later on this month. And let's see, the big to-do, the big San Diego Comic-Con is being postponed to November. Now, there's still a very real possibility that it could be canceled as well, because, you know, the bug has taken a financial hit on, you know, Comic-Con as well as E3 and other of these events too. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how things go regarding Comic-Con 21. For now, it is postponed, not canceled, and we'll see how that plays out. I don't know if there was anything that you all were looking forward to when it came to Comic-Con 2021. To be honest, I don't really remember anything that was coming out that I was excited for. Lately, I mean, there really hasn't been much to be excited about when it comes to comics, to be honest. Let's see. Andrix, what's up, Andrix? I guess you've possibly changed. Have you changed your name, Andrix? But good to see you, Andrix. Hope you're doing well. Glad to have you back. But to be honest, I hate to say it, but comics has really gone downhill. Except for like the independents out there still doing their thing. You've had a lot of issues in the comic book industry lately. And some of you know why. Some of the agenda nonsense being pushed. It's just made comics unbearable. And it's infected all the major comics. Marvel, DC, etc. Eldavo, what's up, Eldavo? By the way, let me know in the chat, what are some of your favorite comic book characters? Like Batman, Superman? Maybe over on Marvel's side, like Iron Man, Captain America, Black Panther? Let's see. Yeah, I think I remember you. But it's been a while, though. But I hope you're doing well. Glad to see you. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes down to the writing. You know, the writing in the direction that they've taken comics in order to push and hammer agenda on people is just very divisive. And you can put a message into comics, good messages of people, you know, rising above challenges and working together, getting past differences. But it just feels like lately that not only is there a lot of divisiveness and a lot of that agenda nonsense being forced down our throat in comics, TV shows, and movies, but at the same time, the imagination is lost. It's just, you see this idea come up and you're just like, who the hell came up with this? Like, seriously, I mean, this is the best they could come up with for a DC comic or a Marvel comic. You think they could do better. But it's a lack of imagination, and it's the imagination itself and the passion for these characters and the world building has been set aside, unfortunately, by the so-called writers today, not all of them, in favor of the agenda. And that's not what comics or entertainment's supposed to be about. Huge Outlaw Comic-Cons, I missed going to them. I've never been to a Comic-Con. I've been to PAX South, but I always meant to go back to future PAX South because that's the closest one to me in San Antonio, Texas. I live in Northwest Louisiana, by the way, but San Antonio's not that far. Plus, it's nice to visit in like January. It's kind of cool. It's got the Riverwalk, the Alamo, all that good stuff. But I always intended to go check out other events, but I'm not really a big fan of going around large crowds of people. Not really my thing, but at the same time, it was really cool going to PAX because they had comic stuff, they had video game stuff, they had people from all walks of life passionate about these things that we are passionate about. All this really does, on its own, bring people together. You don't need the agenda nonsense. You don't need any of that garbage because this stuff brings people together. That's what I don't understand. Let's see, for your birthday, you bought the RTX 3080. Nice. Very nice, Andrix. Very nice. Very, very nice. See, Ben says your favorite is Spider-Man. Yeah, I like Spider-Man as well. Dark MatterWolf. I think the FurryCon is canceled. No! Not the FurryCon! No! Riley and I were talking about furries last night. And like she was like going in like she I don't know why she did this, but she had to go look at the official definition of furries. And I was just like, why are we talking about this? Oh, so crazy. Random conversations, right? Outlaw, last Comic Con I went to, got the Dragon Sword and the Dragon Dagger. That was 500 euros. Whoa. Okay, well, I hope that investment will eventually be worth more than 500 euros, UG. See, Andrix likes Captain America. Yeah, I will say one thing I really enjoyed about the MCU is a lot of these characters I wasn't as passionate about until Jon Favreau and Kevin Feige, launched Iron Man, and from there the MCU. I became a lot more interested in Iron Man as well as Captain America and a lot of the other characters that they introduced, like Black Widow, for example. I was always aware of Hulk. I didn't really care as much about Hulk. I started liking Hulk a little bit more. But King Flush is here. What's up, King Flush? How's it going? So, yeah, Comic-Con not canceled. I'm sorry about that. I'll fix it after the stream's over. It's postponed till November. Like, I thought it was canceled. That's what they said. They said it was canceled, but it's not canceled. Okay, make up your mind, Comic-Con. Okay, so speaking of comics, so do y'all know that Lucasfilm is working on some fantastic Star Wars comics right now? They're absolutely top-notch comics. They're like the bestest comics ever. High Republic. Yes, we're talking about High Republic. Oh, boy. So, I know, most of you are probably like, High Republic? No, GB, don't do it. Okay, so we have some characters to introduce. And so this is, Leox Gassi, right? Is that his name? Leox Gassi. He's going to be, the Han Solo type in the High Republic. So, this is great. We got Leox Gassi. And he has a ship. Han Solo, he had a ship. The Millennium Falcon. Yeah, all these other ships. Like Kyle Katarn, he had the Moldy Crow at first. And then he had another one after the Moldy Crow. But, these characters, these pilots in Star Wars often have really cool names for the ships, right? Really cool names. All right. So, what do y'all think the name of his ship is? What cool name did these geniuses in the writing staff of Star Wars for the High Republic came up with for his ship? The Vessel. Wow. That's the best you could do? See, that goes back to what I was just talking about a moment ago. The ideas, the imagination gets pushed aside. And obviously, these writers have a lack of imagination. Because you couldn't come up with a name for this ship? Anything would do. I could come up with names for this ship. I'm not going to because I don't want them stolen, but I could come up with a freaking name. Other than the Vessel. It's such a name. It's stupid. Like, is this how lazy you are? It's so freaking lazy. Like, just, I don't know, call it something. Something. I mean, you have this team of writers, right? Writing this garbage. And not one of them could throw an idea out there. Or a couple ideas and mix the ideas together to come up with a name for a vessel. But we're not done yet. We're not done. Because the vessel's not the only thing in this little teaser. By the way, it's over at StarWars.com in case you're curious. And we'll look at these characters a little bit more in a moment. So you got the Vessel. Great name. Wonderful. And then we have the co-pilot. I guess she seems okay. I have no issue with her. And then you're wondering, well, why is she standing next to a rock? I mean, there's planets out there. I mean, even though this looks like a space station, of course there's going to be rocks. There's going to be trees. There's going to be foliage. But there's also going to be rocks and boulders and pebbles. But guess what? So it's not just a rock, okay? The rock is called Geode. And the rock is a navigator. A rock. Okay. there have been rock people in fiction before, right? Like the Gnome King from Return to Oz, by the way, great movie. And the stone giants in The Hobbit. And let's see, the rock biter, right? The rock biter from Neverending Story. But see, they actually had a personality. They weren't a big slab of rock. And they actually stole something. I've read a lot of this stuff already, so not to go through it too much detail. Like, they stole something from Doctor Who when it comes to Geode. Well, by the way, another great name, right? Hey, what are we going to call this rock character? Fantastic. You could have gone with anything. I mean, there's countless species in Star Wars. Wookiees, Twi'leks, etc. They could have used any of those species that have been created over the years, from the original trilogy to the expanded universe, which, by the way, is far better than anything that High Republic could ever offer. Or if they could use anything from the the prequel era, from even the sequel trilogy. Even the sequel trilogy, there were aliens that were created in the sequel trilogy that they could have grabbed one of those aliens and made that the navigator. Like, okay, from this species, which you see in the background in the sequel trilogy, yeah. But they go over rock. A freaking rock. So, how do you think the rock gets around? How do you think the rock moves? Now, see, the rock can't move if you see it, right? If you're looking at the rock, it won't move. It only moves when no one's looking at it. Now, does anybody know what that sounds like? Anyone? Bueller? Any Doctor Who fans here? What does that sound like? Oh, a weeping angel, perhaps? Yeah. So, not only do they lack imagination here, calling the ship the vessel, and having one of the characters on the vessel being a rock, literally a rock, but it moves around just like the weeping angels. It only moves when no one's looking at it. Well, what about security cameras, right? On a space station, security cameras on the vessel, cameras. Surely there has to be somebody looking at all times. So, good job, High Republic writers. Brilliant. Fantastic work. So, I wanted to talk about that real quick and see your thoughts about the High Republic. Have any of you actually read anything from the High Republic yet? I know they came out with a book, right? And I think I heard they were actually like when it came to Yoda, because Yoda's the only character that they brought in, that is from like the original trilogy. And I hear that they haven't exactly treated Yoda very well in the High Republic. I see Joris. Hello, Joris. How's it going? Thanks for the sub. Let's see, Ben. Wow, The Rock has a cameo in the Star Wars comic. That's right. A rock. It's amazing. Let's see, Ben. Let's see, GB. Think of The Rock as a meteorite. It's been around space, so of course its job is to navigate. Yeah. I see Bigfoot. Hello, Bigfoot. I am see Randy's brother. Yeah. Oh, he got fired. Oh, damn. I'm sorry to hear that. I know he was having an issue with his boss. Man, that sucks. I'll tell Randy I'm sorry about that. Give him my best. I hope things turn around for him. I really do. I know he's had a really bad time lately. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, Bigfoot. But where do we leave off? Yeah, I mean, Riley. I mean, yeah. See, I think you guys are onto something. I think Dwayne Johnson should sue. Look. There's only one character that gets to be called The Rock, and that's Dwayne Johnson, okay? He's The Rock. And if Dwayne Johnson does not sue, then outrage. Where do they come up with this nonsense? Where do they? Let me look real quick and see. Let's look at their character bios. I'm going to try and navigate here real quick. All right, characters. They've added all these characters to the High Republic. I mean, to be honest, I don't have a problem with the High Republic personally. I mean, it's okay if it exists. But at the same time, you think they'd have better people working on it. Yeah, the BBC should sue because they obviously stole like the concept of the Weeping Angels. That's how they move when no one sees them. That's why you don't blink. You always look at them, because if you look away for just a second, then they'll move. Even if you blink, they move. The same thing goes for Geo, the rock. All right, where the hell is this? Is so confusing. There, series. Okay, let's go to series. Bad Batch. I mean, I hope Bad Batch turns out good, but I canceled my Disney Plus, so I don't know if I'll watch it or not. All right, I'm trying to find the characters. You know what? We may just move on after this subject. But I mean, there was something else I wanted to bring up real quick, but I'm having trouble finding. Oh, characters and histories. Finally found it. All right, so let's see. They really make navigating this annoying as hell. Because I wanted to talk more about the characters that are being introduced that we just went over. But at the end of the day, I think most of you feel the same way I do. You probably don't care. You probably don't care. Let's see, Luke says, who thought of the name Leox is an awful name? Yeah, some people actually have they believe that the name is like some sort of like anti-religious name. I don't know, but Leox Gashi, I don't know. I can't pronounce it. I watched the trailer and then I try to pronounce the name, and it always screw it up. But okay, so I'm just trying to find his profile. Okay, it's a video, but I don't want the video because he does have a profile. I saw it earlier, but I'm missing it. Okay. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't think High Republic's going to survive, to be honest. I think eventually it's gonna get wrecked. You know what I think would have been smarter? This is my opinion. Tell me what y'all think about this. For those of you that are into the EU, which is Legends now, the expanded universe, I think they should have just recanonized not all of Legends, because I mean, look, there's some EU stuff that was kind of cringe, not to the level of High Republic cringe, mind you, but the Tron trilogy was pretty good. The Thrawn trilogy. You also had the Dark Empire, where that's the first time Palpatine actually returns, and that was done way better than in Rise of Skywalker. Way better. Did it lag on a little long? Did it last longer than it should have? Yeah, just a little. But the concepts were a lot more interesting when it came to Dark Empire and the Eclipse and Palpatine resurrecting again. And then, of course, Mara Jade gets introduced. Mara Jade is a very cool character. She was originally the Hand of the Emperor. She had Force abilities, and she was assigned to actually hunt down and kill Luke Skywalker after the events of the original trilogy. But plot twist, she actually ends up falling in love with Luke Skywalker, and she turns away from the dark side, and they end up getting married. And she becomes a Jedi, and she becomes part of Luke's Jedi Temple, and they actually have a son, and their son's name was Ben. Yes, Ben Skywalker. So, yeah. So that was a cool arc, and there were so many of those that was established and created in the EU. I see Joris. Welcome back, Joris. But yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate that I know that there was some stuff in the EU that I looked at and I'm like, yeah, that's weird. A little too odd, a little too strange. But if you're going to decanonize it, right? If you're going to say it's just legends like Elseworld stuff and material, then you better bring something better forward in the future of Star Wars. And unfortunately, that has not been the case, whether it's the sequel trilogy or the High Republic. Mandalorian is an exception because you have Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni. They're actually passionate about Star Wars, unlike others within Lucasfilm. And hopefully within a few months, somebody's contract will be up and then she'll be out the door. I know we talked about Bob Chapek praising Kathleen Kennedy a few days ago, but I still feel like that's just like PR nonsense. That's just what they do, right? Like when they're public and they're giving these speeches, these suits, even if it's somebody they absolutely despise and they know is doing a shit job, like they're going to give it a public spin, a PR talk. But behind the scenes, I feel like the Bobs at Disney realize that Kathleen Kennedy is, hopefully they realize this, that she's just not worth having around anymore. She's caused too much damage to the Star Wars brand, and hopefully they will not renew her contract. And once the time comes, it'll just be a PR thing like, hey, Kathleen Kennedy's decided to retire. We wish her all the best. And then that's when they hopefully bring somebody better like Jon Favreau and put him in charge of Lucasfilm. So that's the way I think it's going to go down. I mean, that's the way it always is with these companies. Let's see. Joyce says, who liked Family? Oh, Blue Harvest. Yeah, Blue Harvest was all right. I'm not the biggest Family Guy fan, but Blue Harvest was pretty cool. Yeah, something dark side. So that was funny. Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I've just never really got Family Guy or American Dad because I'm more of a South Park fan, but it does have funny moments every now and then. Okay, so let's go talk about something that we've been waiting, 20-something years, 25 years? The new Space Jam. That's right. Are y'all ready for a new Space Jam? Space Jam 2? It's shaking things up with Lola Bunny. And Wonder Woman is apparently involved. Cinema Blend. By the way, thanks, Brian, in Discord for posting this. For the most part, Space Jam's lineup of Looney Tunes consisted of characters who'd been mainstays in the cartoon franchise for decades. From Bugs Bunny to Foghorn Leghorn, a big exception was Lola Bunny, who debuted in the 96 movie, the original Space Jam, with Michael Jordan, the legend. She had a regular presence in Looney Tunes canon since. Naturally, Lola was going to be brought back to shoot hoops later this year in Space Jam: A New Legacy, but the sequel will also see her in a much different place compared to where we left her in the last movie, and the world of Wonder Woman factors into it. So that's kind of interesting. Rather than hanging out with the Looney Tunes when Space Jam: New Legacy comes out, director Malcolm D. Lee informed the EW. By the way, this is from Cinema Blend, in case you're wondering, that the upcoming film stars Lola Bunny living on Themyscira. So she's living on Themyscira. That's crazy. So there's some crossover going on. Well, here's the reality. Looney Tunes, DC, it's all owned by Warner Brothers. It's all underneath Warner Brothers or AT&T now. I think AT&T owns all of that, so it's not really that big of a deal. So you have Wonder Woman, a.k.a. Diana Prince. That's where she's from, is Themyscira. See, we wanted to meet her with the Amazons trying to find greener pastures for herself, as she says in the movie. There's more to her than just being a toon. In case you're wondering, how is it possible for Lola to be spending time with DC's Amazons? Well, I just explained how. It's pretty simple. The franchises are all owned by the same corporation. It's unclear if Wonder Woman herself will be around. That's because the majority of Space Jam: New Legacy action takes place inside the Warner 3000 Entertainment System, where the Warner Brothers properties and franchises commingle. NBA superstar LeBron James and his son his son's involved, okay. Gets sucked into the virtual environment by Don Cheadle's algae rhythm, a rogue computer algorithm. Damn algorithms, always up to no good. Rabble. And the only way for them to get out is to do the same thing Michael Jordan did 25 years earlier. Yeah, it's been 25 years. That's crazy. Time flies. Play a high-stakes game of basketball with the Looney Tunes. Lola is initially reluctant to join the team. Of course, it's always like that. Oh, I hung that up. I don't know if I want to do that again. I don't know if I want to come back. Oh, I'll come back. Okay. It's always the same. Let's see, the squad when approached by Bugs Bunny, but she eventually jumps back into the action, which is great since she's still the team's best player. Okay, continue. Oh, that looks exciting. These adverts, right? Lola Bunny spending time on Themyscira as part of Space Jam: New Legacy efforts to depict a character as a less sexualized manner, with Malcolm D. Lee describing her as not politically correct. And, oh, come on. You know, this is just nonsense. So what? I mean, I feel like this is a trap right here, and we'll talk more about this in a moment. Let's see, Malcolm D. Lee describing her as not politically correct in the first Space Jam, although he acknowledged that there's a long history of this happening in cartoons. When Lee came aboard New Legacy, he set out to deliver a more realized Lola, and he had leeway in doing so because she's been created specifically for Space Jam and didn't have to be extensive history for fellow toons have, the filmmaker explained. Lola has been nerfed, according to Riley. This is 2021. It's important to reflect the authenticity of strong, capable female characters. She probably has the most human characteristics of the tunes. She doesn't have a thing like a carrot or lisp or stutter. So we will work a lot of things, not only her look, but make sure she had an appropriate length in her shorts, was feminine without being objectified, gave her a real voice for us. Well, she's also a tune. So she's a tune, and it's okay for her to have a unique voice that's more tune-like. I'm just saying. Continuing, making sure she had an appropriate length, blah, blah, blah. For us, let's ground her athletic prowess, her leadership skills, and make her as full a character like the others. Let's see, while Lola Bunny has popped up in TV series like the Looney Tunes shows, New Looney Tunes, Space Jam is still arguably her most well-known appearance. So for a lot of folks, this may be the first time they're seeing her since the movie came out. And while Malcolm D. Lee and Space Jam New Legacy team didn't drastically overhaul Lola, it sounds like her depiction this time around is more appropriate for the current times. And Keith Sochi, who voiced the original Lola in the original Space Jam, will reprise the character. Other familiar Looney Tunes characters taking part include Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Sylvester, Tweety, Marvin the Martian, along with others. As for the lineup of humans, Star Trek Discovery, Martin Green is playing somebody. Oh, she's playing LeBron's wife. There'll be cameos from NBA players like Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, Draymond Green, Kyle Kuzma, as well as WNBA players Diana, and a few other NBA and WNBA players as well. Like the other Warner Brothers movies came out, Space Jam New Legacy will be released on both theaters and HBO Max. And it looks like it's going to arrive July 16th. Whether or not it's as good as the original. I mean, the original wasn't great, but it was still entertaining, and it was a good message. So this is what Lola, I think this is what she originally looked like. So let me look real quick. We'll read chat and your thoughts about the new Space Jam movie, for any of you that are interested. And your thoughts about Lola. Now, here's my thing, okay? First off, we have to establish the fact that these are cartoon characters, and their looks change over time. But she's also a rabbit, so it's kind of a trap you're walking into. So... But here's the other issue I have. The other issue is that, everyone has different body types, right? Everybody has a different body type. So what was wrong with Lola's body type in the original Looney Tunes? Okay, so they changed her uniform. Okay, that's fine. But what was wrong with the way she originally looked? I mean, I didn't see really a problem. I mean, she's a female character, so, there are females that are petite. There are females that are curvy. There's different body types for females out there, just like there's different body types for males. So, I think they overthink it. Let's see, Super Psycho. Hello, Super Psycho. I'm an old ass, older than 25. I know, right? Rasper, Disney should sue Warner Brothers. It sounds a lot like Tron. Yeah, I think you have a point there. It does sound a lot like Tron. Now that you brought that to my attention. End of line. Riley, if you look at the new design compared to the last one, she went down horribly. Joris says, if Lola was nerfed, does that mean Rockstar Games is making this movie? Haha, Joris. Dark MatterWolf, I wonder what they're thinking on doing. Didn't Pepe Le Pew get canceled recently? See, Super Psycho says she was too sexy, I guess. I like the new bunny. She's cute. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the new look of Lola. I mean, it looks all right. I mean, like I said, A, it's a cartoon. B, it's a bunny. So either way, for people that are actually, complaining about the look, and I'm not complaining about it, I'm just making an observation here. It's kind of weird, right? Like the words of Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. Because which part's creepier there? You're obsessed with the look of a cartoon character, or are you obsessed with a rabbit, right? My point my point is that everyone has different body types. And there was nothing wrong with Lola's body type in 96. And there was no reason for her body type to be changed. But at the same time, it is what it is, right? But there's also the concern that they're going to change more than just her body type. Even though they're bringing back the same actress that voiced her, how different is her character going to be, in Space Jam New Legacy than she was in the original Space Jam? So that's another concern. I think that's a bigger concern in my opinion. Will she even remotely resemble the Lola that a lot of people loved from the original Space Jam? And I thought she was a strong, powerful female character back in the original movie. A lot of people really liked her. It was the first time she was ever introduced, a brand new Looney Tune, and she became widely popular. And a lot of the popularity was from female fans, by the way. Where's Roger Rabbit? Well, Roger Rabbit's hanging out with Jessica Rabbit right now, playing patty cake. DeForest, hey DeForest, how's it going? They should have retired Lola and Bugs and made the sequel with Tiny Toons. I love Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons was awesome, DeForest. Yeah, but it's called New Legacy, right? So why not use this as a way to bring back the Tiny Toons? That's a good idea, DeForest. They should have done that. Rasper, I think you mentioned a discussion about furries at the beginning. Yeah, we did, right, Rasper? Yeah, the things that Riley and I talk about. By the way, she brought up that topic, not me. It's her fault. John Steve, they need to stop making these remakes of classic films. Well, technically, John, I think that this is actually a sequel. And somebody did mention that Michael Jordan was going to be, I guess he was at least going to get a cameo. Let me look at chat real quick. All right, so George says Michael Jordan is in the movie. So I guess at the very least he's going to be a cameo. It'd be cool if he was like the coach. If he goes from being like he has to I don't know. I'm thinking it's just going to be like a cameo. But it'd be cooler if he had like a larger involvement in Space Jam 2. And he was actually the coach, and you would see this whole mentor thing between Michael Jordan and LeBron, and how LeBron still, even though he's a great basketball player, he still has a little bit more to learn, and he has to learn to work together with Bugs and Lola and Daffy and the rest of the Toon Squad. But I feel like at the end of the day, when Space Jam A New Legacy or Electric Boogaloo comes out, it's not going to be as good as the original. And look, the original wasn't even great either. It was okay. It was a good movie. It wasn't a great movie, but it was still good. White Fang, what's up, White Fang? How's it going? So Jorah says they're trying to get fan mail. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do. Super Cycle says Daffy Duck is Bugs Bunny's soulmate. Exactly. Well, not really. I disagree. Because Daffy's always plotting against Bugs. It's mine, you understand? Oh, mine. Everything's well between Daffy and Bugs until there's something that Daffy really, really wants, right? And most of the time, Bugs doesn't even give a shit. Yeah, Daffy's like, it's mine, you understand? No, GB, it's your fault. Of course it's my fault. White Fang, it's better to be good in space. It's gonna, even if the original Space Jam wasn't the greatest movie of all time, it was still good enough. And it's still popular. It has a following, obviously. And this is like 25 years in the waiting and the making of the next Space Jam movie. So I don't know if it's going to be a worthy sequel to Space Jam. I guess we'll just have to find out. All right, George, thanks for hanging out with us today. See, Ben says they need to stop making sequels to 30-year-old movies. ToykoTent's here. What's up, ToykoTent? How's it going? Hope you're having a good Monday. Hope you all are enjoying the GB Cast, where we go over movies, TV shows, video games, comics, sci-fi, etc. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the current schedule. 12 Central, 6 p.m. UK. If you're enjoying the stream, a like is greatly appreciated. They need to stop making sequels. Yeah, I agree. And there's another sequel that just came out, right? To an older movie, a classic, even more popular than Space Jam, Coming to America. Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall. I haven't watched the sequel yet, but I've heard very, very bad things about the new Coming to America movie. And it just goes back to what Ben was saying. Look, if you can't make a worthy sequel to a beloved classic like Space Jam or Coming to America, maybe Hollywood just shouldn't. But we all know why they do it. Money, 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 money. Exactly. John Steve remakes or sequels have been poor recently. Just look at, yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, like Coming to America is a much beloved comedy with the legendary Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall together. Great chemistry, great team up, awesome movie. And the sequel, from what I've seen, not so good. Anyways, I'll be right back and do a little quick intermission. We got a few other topics to go over, by the way. While you're enjoying the chair, feel free and throw in some other suggestions. Any other topics, video games, TV shows, movies, comics, sci-fi out there today that you'd like to discuss, leave it in the chat, and I'll be right back with more of the GB Cast. All right, we are back with more of the GB Cast. We'll go over your comments real quick, then we'll continue. We got some more topics to talk about. We're going to go into some more gaming topics as well. And obviously, other things you all wish to discuss today. All right, so where we leave off, we'll see. Whitefang says, I had all the Space Jam toys, then they got lost in the move. So it gave me the opportunity to see if they could put the old stuff back in the stores. Like I'm seeing with the toys, to see like the Ghostbusters 90 toys, G.I. Joe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Don't forget Transformers. That's right, we had some chair hype. Hello, Sinister. How's it going? ToykoTent. Let's see. What's your thoughts on Cayo Perico Heist? I feel like it is probably one of the best ways to make money in GTA Online. Absolutely. It is one of the best ways. You don't have to go into the public lobbies. You don't have to be attacked by the people in God mode or broomsticks flying around, or even the worst of the worst, the filthy, stinking orb spammers in public lobbies. One day, Rockstar is going to do something about the orbital cannon. And once that happens, then the orb spammers will no longer have their precious orbital cannon. Or at the very least, it'll be reworked. Or honestly, I think that it should be completely removed from the game. I'll probably be doing a video about all that good stuff coming up on probably Thursday. I think that's going to be Thursday's video. But yeah, Cayo Perico is definitely a great way to make money. Even if you're going in solo, like all the setups are not too difficult. It is fun to do. It's good to go both ways. Like solo, it's all right. But going in with friends, it's fun. It's a really chill way to make money in GTA Online. And it's way easier than the regular heist, right? Like, for example, Pacific Standard is a nightmare to get through unless you got a good team, right? It's not impossible. It's not like Doomsday Act 3, which I think is worse, like difficulty-wise. But yeah, I mean, Cayo Perico is pretty easy, especially if you go in stealthy through the submarine and you're really good at just, I mean, it's intimidating at first going into the compound, but once you get an idea of where the guards are, where the cameras are, and you get into this routine of just taking them out stealthily with the suppressors, then it's pretty easy peasy. The only hard part is like the finger code, but GTA Man did a pretty good video about that. A quick way to learn how to use the fingerprint code. It's not that difficult to do. There's definitely a lot of really good strats out there to get through the Cayo Perico heist finale quickly and efficiently, whether you're solo or with some friends. I think the sweet spot for Cayo Perico, by the way, is 3 players, because most of the time there's enough loot within the compound itself to fill 3 duffel bags. One thing I've noticed, and others as well, when we're playing is when we have 4 players, there always seems to be just not enough in the compound, forcing us to do a bit more looting outside the compound instead of going like straight for a boat, trying to get the hell out of Dodge before El Rubio finds out. So that's my strategy about Cayo Perico. I like doing it. It is easy, and that's the danger. It can be a little too easy, despite the fact there is some different strats you can do for Cayo Perico, different options. Most of us prefer the stealthy approach because it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, so welcome back, Ramking. Let's see, Wifang GB, are you familiar with wrestling? I did talk a little bit about wrestling yesterday during the Xbox One stream. I'm not as into wrestling as I used to be, but I used to watch it a long time ago, like the days of the WWF and the rivalry between WWF eventually becoming WWE versus WCW, especially, you know, when they had the WCW versus NWO era with Hollywood Hogan, Sting, Macho Man Randy Savage. By the way, Macho Man Randy Savage, Undertaker, probably some of my more favorite wrestlers of all time. And after, I mentioned this yesterday, by the way, when WCW went under and when ECW went under and WWE bought all them, I think that's when like wrestling started going downhill entertainment wise, because it was all underneath WWE. It was all owned by the McMahons. And there have been a few other companies that have tried to rise up and compete. They have failed. And I think that was one thing somebody brought up yesterday was the AEW, the newest one. It's doing quite well right now. It has Chris Jericho in it. I like Chris Jericho. He's a really good singer, by the way. He has a band called Fozzy. I think he still has the band Fozzy. But I just think he's a great wrestler. He's also a great entertainer. And he's also a great musician. So in real life, he's a pretty decent guy. But so I think that the lesson to be learned is that competition is very, very important. It's very important in almost every aspect, whether it's in wrestling or video games or consoles or when it comes to like comics. Like, it's good that DC and Marvel are not owned by the same company. That way that maybe eventually when you get some new creative juices come into DC and Marvel and you get this agenda nonsense washed away, because it will happen eventually, especially since it's obvious that that nonsense does not sell. The old saying goes, get woke, go broke. It doesn't sell. And a lot of these companies, at the end of the day, they may virtue signal all day long, but they look at the numbers, and if the numbers continue to go down, eventually they're going to low-key move away from that stuff. So it's only a matter of time, especially as all that agenda nonsense gets worse and worse. Now, maybe it started off with the best of intentions, right? But like I always say, the road to good intentions is paved towards hell. I know I screwed that one up, but at the same time, I feel like it's become a lot more toxic and a lot more divisive than ever. It's only made things worse, the so-called agenda. So I think it's only a matter of time, especially when you see sales going down for movies and TV shows and comics. Eventually, there's going to be people that are going to have enough. You know, not just us, the consumer, the fans, but people within these companies too. They're just going to see the writing on the wall sooner or later, and they're going to be like, this is not profitable, this is not working, and it's just pissing off the fan base. So eventually, you're gonna see a new renaissance, I believe. I think it's going to happen. All right, so where we leave off, let's see. Luke says Doomsday Act 3 is the hardest. Yeah, I freaking hate Doomsday Act 3 in GTA. God, it's awful. Plus, that's where they justify the existence of the orbital cannon. Ugh. So there's plenty of reasons to hate Doomsday Act 3, including the orbital cannon, which should have never, ever been added to GTA Online. I knew from day one that was going to be something the griefers were going to love using, but I had no idea how badly it was going to be exploited. And I hate to say it, but I think Rockstar needs to remove it and reimburse everybody that bought it and move on, because it's a terrible addition to GTA Online. And some people make the argument in my poll, which I'm going to do a video about Thursday, that the broomstick's worse. And yeah, the broomstick does need some things done to it. Riley and I made a video about that a while back, a couple years ago, actually. I don't think it needs to be removed, but I think the broomstick does need a little bit of tweaking. But the orbital cannon, on the other hand, no, I think it needs to go. Let's see, Wifang says I paid $80 for Darby alien figure. $80? Well, I hope it's worth that $80. Maybe it will be worth something someday, just like with the items that UG Outlaw spent 500 euros on. Jeez, that's a lot of money. Dark MatterWolf, the last WWE superstar was CM Punk. Yeah, I kind of bounced before John Cena and CM Punk, Dark MatterWolf. I don't really care as much for it as I used to. Even when I was watching it when I was a teenager, I knew it was fake. It was still entertaining back in the day. It was still entertaining. But, I mean, I hope that there's a new renaissance when it comes to wrestling as well. Maybe it's happening right now with the AEW. Riley says, I never liked wrestling. It was quite boring. Yeah, I mean, that's why there's so many different types of entertainment out there. There's something for everybody, whether it's wrestling or sports or comics or sci-fi, TV shows, movies, etc. Let's see, Luke says, was it Act 3 that also had the invisible juggernaut in him? Yes. Yeah, the invisible juggernauts. I'm the juggernaut, bitch! Yeah, those were also in Act 3. Even more reason not to like Act 3 of the Doomsday Heist. ToykoTent, any ideas and thoughts when the next DLC for GTA will be? I don't have any information out there. I have zero information. Rockstar, don't talk to me. Nobody inside Rockstar knows about me, or if they do, they avoid me at all costs. So I have no inside baseball, but I have a theory that may turn out to be completely rubbish, as they say across the pond. I believe that there is going to probably be a spring update to GTA Online. Now, is it going to be a big update? No. It's probably going to be like the spring special, right? The Los Santos spring special. And it's just going to be them adding some more cars, some more vehicles. Riley wants a jet, so maybe Rockstar, if someone at Rockstar's listening, could you give Riley a fighter jet, please? Give her something. And all the other pilots, they just want a new fighter jet, for crying out loud. Is that too much to ask? But, so yeah, I think that there's a very real possibility that there will be I guess, similar to you remember the 2014 updates to GTA Online, like business update, high life, I'm not a hipster, somewhere in that ballpark when it comes to an update. So I feel like that they'll do something like that. And they'll introduce some new vehicles for a spring update. And if they do, I'll definitely stream it. I'll go back to GTA Online for that. And then, of course, they'll have a few vehicles that they'll drip feed all the way out into the summer. And that's probably when they'll have a bigger update for GTA Online. So it's just a theory I have. I think it makes sense. I mean, they want to keep people playing GTA Online and, buying them shot cards. And since GTA Online, it's their baby. It's a baby. It's the golden goose. Not just for Rockstar, but for Take-Two. Of course, they're going to probably have like some sort of spring update. Probably with a ton of new vehicles. We'll see how it goes, because to be honest, a lot of the Cayo Perico vehicles really felt like they were like at the bottom of the barrel. A lot of them were trash. They were awful. Let's see where we leave off. Dark MatterWolf. Riley kicked some butt last night in GT. Yeah, she was doing pretty good at the dogfighting. Riley's one of the best at dogfighting and Stockpile. The problem is she kept getting lumped up with the worst teammates. The worst teammates. The first time it was 2v1. She still did really good. Like if it was being scored on dogfighting, Riley easily won. Now the second match during her live stream, she had the misfortune of teaming up with some AFK players that are just there to to take advantage of the double money opportunities. But here's the problem. If your team loses, you don't get as much money, you morons. And then the other matches she was in, I don't know what happened. She just had the misfortune of being put on the worst teams. She was doing great, even being like outnumbered. She was doing really well, but she just, for some reason, like Rockstar was not being nice to her last night because she kept getting put on shitty team after shitty team. And I was just hoping that at least she was going to wrap up the stream being on one good team, but unfortunately that did not happen. So yeah, the balancing in adversary PvP modes for Red Dead Online and GT Online have always been bad. Ramking says, I don't really know why everyone thinks wrestling is fake. It is fake. I mean, it's a lot of, they practice, they train. That part's not fake. The moves are real, but a lot of times the match is predetermined. Like, they've already decided, the higher ups like, okay, Undertaker's going to win this match. Undertaker's going to win. Now, Macho Man's going to come in and do the best he can against Undertaker, but Undertaker's still going to win. I'm just citing these as two examples. So there's obviously realistic stuff to wrestling, and there's a lot of hard work and a lot of training, a lot of practice. But the story arcs are fake, all that nonsense. Like, there are actual rivalries between wrestlers, just like sports stars. But at the end of the day, some of the rivalries are just that. They're just fictional. It's a weird hybrid of reality and fantasy combined together in the squared circle. See, Whitefang says the PvP for AEW just had last night. I thought it was really decent for what wrestling is these days. Yeah, I've been hearing good things about AEW, so I'm glad that that's getting better and better and gaining ratings and viewers. Actually, legitimate, competition for WWE, which I think is needed. Luke says next update will either be a new business with some formula or others, or be like the last update. See, I think that my theory is that the next update is just going to be mostly focused on vehicles and perhaps maybe some new adversary modes or some remix adversary modes. It's not going to be anything special if it's a spring update, but the entire purpose will be to introduce some new content like new vehicles and even a lot of drip-fed stuff as well to keep players continuing to play GTA Online. So that's what I think is going to happen. Whitefang says that's what people mean when they say all sports are fake nowadays. It's all entertainment. Yeah, for the most part. Luke, the moves and stuff happen are real, but the outcomes are always predetermined. Exactly, Luke. Exactly. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. We got some more gaming news. For those of you that have been wanting Rust on console, I have some good news for you. We're about to get a little bit of Rust on our PS4s, Xbox Ones. You're like, no, GB, I don't want any Rust on my consoles. I take good care of my consoles. I clean them. I vacuum them. I don't want no Rust on that shit. I'm talking about a video game, okay? Jeez, it was a joke. Calm down. All right, this is from IGN. Rust finally gets its console launch this spring, 8 years after launch. 8 years? Rust has been out for 8 years. I've watched Delirious and others play Rust. It looks interesting, but at the same time, I just never felt the motivation to get it on PC, but now it's coming to console. I'd have some smoothie action. Several years after it was initially announced to be coming to consoles, competitive survival title Rust at last has a clear release window on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It's coming this spring. Though no specific date has been given, Double 11 announced today that Rust console's debut will take place this spring following an ongoing closed beta. It also showed off a new trailer, illustrates the experience on console. Rust first launched on Steam back in 2013, around the same time as GTA 5. But it recently has seen a new surge in popularity due to numerous content creators picking the game up. It was first announced for consoles back in 2019 with the 2020 release window, but it was delayed till 2021 due to the challenges with remote working last year because of the bug. It was rated by the ESRB on console in January, leading to many to rightfully speculate that the console launch was imminent. Last month, Rust saw the addition of new softcore mode to the game, which helps it appeal to more casual players. Possibly a response to Rust's increased popularity, while the game's regular survival mode remains ruthless as ever. So this is something that might be interesting. Trying out some Rust. Anyone on PS4, Xbox One kind of interested in this? Sinister, it's getting rusty. That's right. White Fang, I wish I knew when the game Roller Champions was going to be out. I haven't heard anything about that game yet, to be honest, White Fang, but maybe it'll come out eventually, maybe it won't. You know how games can go. Ramking says, oh, Rust, I heard about it. It took them long enough to bring it to console. I mean, there's a small indie studio, I understand, but that studio's probably gotten bigger because of, the popularity of Rust on PC, as well as content creators and streamers like Delirious and others playing it. Let's play some Rust and build us a city. DeForest, that might not be a bad idea. It's going to depend on how much it costs. I don't know what the price tag for Rust is going to be. I hope that it's crossplay, at least the console version. I hope it's crossplay between PS4 and Xbox. Riley says, I guess I'll play it with you. Oh, you want to get rusty? See, Ben says it's not really your thing. What's wrong? What's wrong, Ben? You don't want to be rusty? You don't want to live in a post-apocalyptic era? You like things nice and clean and fully functional? Ramking says, even before the bug happened, I thought it would have been released before then. Well, it obviously took them a while to get it released. See, Dark MatterWolf says he's interested. Yeah, I'm kind of interested. You know what I'm going to do? Before I even bother buying it, I'm going to let it come out on console. I'm going to watch other people review it, like Carrick at ACG. I'm sure he'll review it. And hopefully Angry Joe will review it. And other people that are on YouTube that we actually can trust, who actually do really good jobs at reviewing video games. And we'll get their opinion about it. And if they think it's a good port for PS4 and Xbox One. Hopefully also for PS5 and Xbox Series X, because I'm still hoping to get my hands on a PS5 and an Xbox Series X sooner rather than later. I hope that it also is available for those ports as well. Ramking says, oh no, the iron. Hey, iron is good for you. You need iron in your diet, okay, Ramking? So when you're running around Rust, you need to pick up some iron and numb on it a little. That's not how you consume iron, by the way. But I've always found the concept of this game interesting. You run around, it's basically survival. You're having to survive. You're having to scrap and forge and loot. And you all know how much I love looting, right? Sinister says, my coworker said after his shift logged on and a posse stole everything from him. Oh, in Rust, Sinister? Because I know you can build things, right? You can build buildings and shit, and then you can put security measures. But people can still blast their way into your building if they really want to get in your building on the server. And they can get into your lockers and take your shit. See, that part about Rust I don't like so much. It does add a bit of realism, right? A bit of risk. Even if you go through all this trouble to build this really badass fortress, right? And you have several people that are part of your clan, your tribe, your crew, whatever it is, your faction, and you have all these security measures in place. I mean, it's not 100% guarantee that someone else is going to come along while no one's there and just bust through the door, or blast a hole in the wall. Because I think there's attack helicopters in the game too, right? You could eventually get an attack helicopter if you want, and some other toys. Because they've added more stuff to Rust over the years. So you get enough hardware, you could bust your way through the most secure of buildings and fortresses in Rust and grab your shit. So I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. It seems interesting though, but those of us starting out will have nothing. With zilch, nada. But still, I'm going to wait and see. If it's a decent port, and especially if it's forwards compatible from my cat woke up. She's out of her box. Oh no. Oh no. The prophecy is revealed. Good morning or afternoon, kitty. But yeah, which is a note to self. Soon I'm going to have to clean my office. Somebody, I think his name was Jack the other day, one of my viewers, was complaining about the background. Look, I know, Jack. I know. I need to clean my office. I get it. The boxes are back there because, cats like them boxes. But I have been wanting to do some spring cleaning, and I have been doing it slowly and surely around my house. But one of my projects is to clean up the office a bit. So that is my plan. Speaking of plans and looting, I don't know if I'm going to do some Diablo 2 tonight. I'm still thinking about it. I'm going to wait and see. I want to see if I'm in the mood for it later this evening, or if like Red or Riley or somebody else is planning on streaming Monday night. I honestly don't know. I'm never going to step on their toes though. So if Red is going to stream tonight, I'm not going to get in his way. And if Riley plans, I know she streamed last night, so she may not stream tonight. We'll see. But there may or may not be a Diablo 2 stream later this evening. So that's what I would like to do. I want to get to the point where I'm streaming Diablo 2 at least 2 nights a week, Monday night and Friday night, because that works really good for my schedule. And I know some of you want me to do some night streams, and I guess that works for night streams, right? And I really do enjoy Diablo 2. It's one of my favorite games, and I'm very excited for Diablo 2 Resurrected, obviously. If I'm allowed to play the alpha and I'm allowed to stream it, I'm definitely going to stream that. And whenever Diablo 2 Resurrected comes out, especially if it gets good ratings, I'm definitely going to be streaming through Diablo 2 Resurrected. But till then, while we wait patiently, I've decided to just play through and stream through the original Diablo 2. So we're going to be taking our sweet time in Diablo 2. I'm not really in a rush to get through it. So at least 1 or 2 streams a week, night streams Monday, Friday night. So there may be a trip to Sanctuary tonight for some more Diablo 2. We'll just see how things go. I never tried to completely plan on doing it, but it's in the tentative schedule for later on this evening for anybody that might be curious. Ramking says, yeah, I've seen people play DayZ. I really wasn't as into it. Isn't it like it's a zombie themed, right? It's like open world survival, zombie themed. Some of you know how I feel about zombies. Not particularly a fan. Yes, cat. Hello. We're gonna get you a cat cam, Mungie, and that way we can just have them look at you. Yeah. Freaking cats. Always wanting attention. All right, so we do have another topic to bring up. This is actually a really good topic. I don't always want to bring up stuff that I'm making fun of or trashing. I always like to bring up interesting stuff too, things that I like, things that I'm looking forward to, things that I'm excited about. Hopefully some of you are excited about. And also good news. Good news out there when video games and video game studios actually lead to some positive things occurring in the world. That's also great to see. Ruben. No, Ruben. Stop it, Ruben. All right. So anyways, let's talk about, hold on. No, we're not going to talk about this, whatever the hell this is. I have no idea what that is. Now, we're going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima devs to be made permanent ambassadors of the real island of Tsushima. Now, this is really cool news. And this, by the way, is also from VGC, VideoGameChronicles.com. Now, some of you may remember a few months ago, this temple, I think there was like a typhoon or a storm that hit the island of Tsushima and damaged the shrine. Money was raised by Sucker Punch, a GoFundMe, and a lot of Ghost of Tsushima fans chipped in to help pay for the shrine being rebuilt. So this is awesome news. Creative team leads to be honored for spreading the name and history of Tsushima. The real... Stop clawing my jacket. Bad kitty. The real Japanese island of Tsushima has given prestigious award to two... Stop! Knock it off. Hey, would anyone like a cat? Could I interest anyone in a cat? She's pre-owned. She's a 2007 model. She's got a few miles on her. She's very affectionate, but she wants to be the center of the attention like 100% of the time. Continuing. The real Japanese island of Tsushima has been given a prestigious award by 2 senior members of Ghost of Tsushima development team. Game director Nate Fox and creative director Jason Connell will become permanent tourism ambassadors to the city of Tsushima in Nagasaki, the island announced this week. The ceremony has been held digitally due to travel restrictions, and the pair will be presented with the award in a letter of appreciation. To mark the occasion, the city said it will collaborate with Sony Interactive Entertainment to set up a new tourism campaign based off the game, which is designed to encourage fans to learn more about the island and its key landmarks. In a statement, Tsushima Mayor Hakuri Hikatsu explained why the pair have been awarded with the honor. Quote, Fox and Connell spread the name and history of Tsushima to the whole world in such a wonderful way. Even a lot of Japanese people do not know the history of the Jinko period when it comes to the world, and the name of the location, Tsushima, is literally unknown, so I cannot thank them enough for telling our story with such phenomenal graphics and profound stories. The mayor went on to explain that while the award has been given to notable Japanese people in the past, this is the first time it has been awarded to someone who has spread the name and the history of Tsushima throughout their works. The appointment of tourism ambassador is from today until Mr. Jason, Mr. Nate no longer wish to have it, he said. So they're going to have that appointment for the rest of their lives. That is awesome. That is so cool. In fact, I've been thinking and discussing about appointing the role to them ever since I discovered they were using Tsushima's name in the game that they worked on. He added, I did not appoint them for the purpose of having them do anything in the future. Thanks to the two of them, Sucker Punch Studios and SIE, I've heard from people all over the world and have learned about Tsushima through their works, and now I want to see and know and actually go to Tsushima. So the positive here is you may see a rise of tourism and interest in the island of Tsushima, which is good for the people of Tsushima. Once travel restrictions are lifted, the mayor said that he would like to invite Fox and Connell and the entire Sucker Punch team to Tsushima, and said he hoped the visit would make them love Tsushima even more. I would really like to appoint all of Sucker Punch and SIE and the game users who were involved in the works as tourism ambassadors. Tsushima had enjoyed newfound recognition following the release of Ghost of Tsushima last year. Ghost of Tsushima released in July 2020 and became an immediate success. The open-world PS4 action game sold more than 2.4 million copies globally as the first 3 days of its sale, according to Sony, which marked a new record for an original IP launch. And then also the shrine is also of significance as well. In Japan, Ghost of Tsushima recorded the best launch week sales of any party on PlayStation 4 game to date. In January, the popularity of the PlayStation game led the fans to raise more than $260,000 to rebuild a shrine on the real island. The priest at Tsushima's Watasumi Shrine launched a crowdfunding page last November. Okay, so the priest there was the one who launched it, okay? But it was picked up by Sucker Punch and Ghost of Tsushima fans last November to help rebuild the Torii Gate that had collapsed during a typhoon. The crowdfunding effort concluded on Sunday with more than 540% of its 47,500 goal. That is amazing. That was over, 500 yen. Damn. 2,000 people contributed to the project, including many fans of Sucker Punch's PlayStation game. Quote, we have received a great deal of support from the players of the Ghost of Tsushima game set in Tsushima, and I feel that it's with God's guidance. I'm very grateful for the support of many people during the cramped life, during the bug, and the challenging economic situation. Sucker Punch looks likely to be working on more Ghost of Tsushima content, according to a recent job ad calling for a narrative designer who should have desired to write a series set in feudal Japan. So, I mean, that low-key confirms that we're going to see, I don't know what it's going to be, but looks like more Ghost of Tsushima is coming our way, and I'm very, very excited about that. So this is nothing but well-rounded good news, in my opinion. The fact that a popular, much-beloved video game put together with attention and care and love and detail by the entire team at Sucker Punch, well-received throughout the world, and Japan, by the way. Japan absolutely loved Ghost of Tsushima. By the way, The Sucker Punch is not a Japanese studio, so that says a lot. And the fact that the mayor of Tsushima has given these guys, Fox and Conor, ambassadorship of tourism for life, basically. I mean, that's amazing. Plus the money that was raised to rebuild this Torii Gate, this shrine, that is awesome. See, good does come from video games. Video games bring people together, and good can project out of video games and into the real world. And plus, people are more passionate about Tsushima. They want to learn about the history of Tsushima thanks to the video game and the hard work done at Sucker Punch. And I'm looking forward to, hopefully, a sequel or a prequel to Ghost of Tsushima. Whichever direction they wish to go, I'm on board. Absolutely. And I would love for them to continue with Ghost of Tsushima Legends. I mean, Riley and I absolutely love playing Ghost of Tsushima Legends, except for the raid. I sucked at that. She's still nagging me about wanting to try and finish the raid. Maybe one day. Maybe once I get a PS5, right? Because I also want to go back and I want to play through the new game plus of Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm going to do. But I first want to get a PS5, which means, maybe somewhere around 23, 24, I'll be able to do that whenever we finally have more PS5s. All right, so where do we leave off? The game deserves more praise. I agree, Riley. I agree. Dark Man and Wolf, it was robbed Game of the Year. I agree 100%. Like, there were some places that actually did give Ghost of Tsushima Game of the Year. I personally gave it my Game of the Year. I know that the GB Awards doesn't really mean much, but it means a lot to me as a gamer. It was my Game of the Year, and for a lot of you, it was your Game of the Year. And I think in the end, that's what really matters. Sinister the Raid was awesome. No. I still have PTSD from that 7-hour nightmare I went through. See, Nate Fox is a hero. He's also involved with Sly Cooper and Infamous as well. Nice. Very nice. So obviously Riley's a big fan of Nate Fox for obvious reasons, not just because his last name happens to be a fox and she loves foxes. Ramking says, this is awesome news. Yeah, it is awesome news. It really is. And I love when stuff like this happens, when you see fans actually have a positive influence on something in real life. And this happens all the time, by the way. It doesn't get reported, but it does happen. Not only does video games help bring people together from all walks of life, but it also helps people that are going through difficult times and people that have issues and problems and other demons that they're fighting. Now, a lot of times it's because of this video game or that video game or the community that they found through the passion for this specific game or franchise or IP that helps get them through. And there are definitely those out there that want to trash video games and say that video games are the root of our problems and are responsible for carjackings, even though carjackings have been around longer than video games. They've been around since probably the first years that there were cars rolling off assembly lines over a century ago, when there were no video games, by the way. But I mean, eventually I will do the raid. I do feel like it may have had something to do with my PS4 potato going oopsie on me during that infamous 7-8 hour stream. I don't want to remember that. But other than that, I absolutely love Ghost of Tsushima. And I loved Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Ben says a sequel would be great if they cut down on the collectibles. I don't know. A lot of people like the collectibles, though, Ben. I mean, I didn't get 100%, but I came closer to getting 100% in Ghost of Tsushima than a lot of other games that I play. Now, I will play a game start to finish, especially if I love it, like, for example, Ghost of Tsushima, Red Dead Redemption 2, but I'm not an achievement hunter. I don't go 100%. I never do. It's just not really my thing. But I came closer than I have in a long time with Ghost of Tsushima, and that says something. So what do y'all think would be a good sequel or prequel for Ghost of Tsushima? Do you think they should go backwards in time and maybe revolve the story around, say, a younger younger characters that we were first introduced to. That'd be kind of neat. Maybe the Civil War that takes place on Tsushima, prior. Or do you think that it should go forward, like with Jin going, like, how would that work, though? I mean, if it's called Ghost of Tsushima, would it take place on Tsushima? Or would it head off onto the Asian continent where Jin would go after the Mongols? So, I mean, there's so many different ways that Ghost of Tsushima could go forward, either forwards or backwards in a timeline. But it's definitely exciting to see a new IP, because that's one thing a lot of us complain about, is like there's not enough new IPs out there, that they're always like running these existing IPs into the ground, like, for example, Assassin's Creed, which ironically, a lot of Assassin's Creed fans, wanted a feudal Japan game. And, well, they didn't. I hear rumors that they're actually going to do a feudal Japan game now. Ubisoft, too little, too late. Good luck topping or even coming close to Ghost of Tsushima. Good luck with that. Riley says she got 100% in platinum. Yeah. Ben says, don't get me wrong, I liked it. I got the platinum, but some of it felt like filler. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it goes, Ben. I mean, there's a lot of filler when it comes to the collectibles in games. I think that some things that could have been done better is maybe just have some things retaken by Mongols, which would allow a bit of replayability. But there's always going to be that when it comes to games, and trying to figure out that post main story content, keeping somebody wanting to stay in the game and play through it and still exist and do things in the world of Tsushima, even if it's just running around wrecking Mongols and Ronin. So I look forward to eventually doing the New Game Plus once I get my hands on a PS5. Hopefully soon. Sony did say that by April they were going to have all that restocked. We'll see, Sony. We'll see. I'm also going to get an Xbox Series X, and for my Xbox viewers, I really do feel for you. For those of you that only have an Xbox, because Ghost of Tsushima is awesome. It's freaking awesome. But hopefully the future is bright for Sucker Punch as well as the Ghost of Tsushima franchise. I don't know what direction they're going to do going forward with it, but I'm very intrigued with what they got planned. And maybe they'll expand upon Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Maybe they'll add more to it. I would love for them to add more to it, because I really felt like it was added value, because I bought the game for the story mode. Most of the Ghost of Tsushima fans bought it for story mode, and we had no idea that they were going to come out with a Legends. We were at the very least hoping for a New Game Plus, and we got that. But if you haven't had a chance to play Ghost of Tsushima, it's definitely worth playing. Absolutely. The only problem is if you don't have a PS4, so I understand that, but maybe eventually a PS4 will become cheap enough with, PS5s continuing to roll out. For those of you that just really, really wanted to play Ghost of Tsushima, I mean, there's other good PS4 games too, so you could get it for not just the Ghost of Tsushima, but other games you've missed out on over the years. But yeah, absolutely loved my time in Tsushima, and I hope that there's... It seems like, obviously, with the success of Sucker Punch, that there's going to be more Ghost of Tsushima in the future. The direction it goes, it could go any direction it wants. It could go into the past of Tsushima, into the world that they've built so far. We could follow Jin's father. We could follow Jin's uncle when he's younger. We could follow some of the other characters like Yuna. It could go any direction it wants to go. But I have faith that Sucker Punch will deliver some really good content, whether it's a future DLCs or most likely a sequel or prequel to Ghost of Tsushima. Either way, very much looking forward to that. I don't know when that's going to come out. Probably no time soon, unfortunately. Ramking says, when you go for 100% of the game, it does feel like filler a lot because of the determination to get to 100%, and everything else about the game feels better when you get to 100%. Yeah, but everybody's different, though, Ramking. There's some people that just want to play the main story. Then there's some that'll play the main story and they also want to do the side quests. And then there's some that want to be achievement hunters. They want 100% games. Everyone has a different style, different interests. So I like the fact that developers try to cater to different groups of gamers at the same time when it comes to these story mode games like GTA 5, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as Ghost of Tsushima, just to name a few. Anyways, I think that's enough for today. I think we went over a variety of interesting topics. And I may or may not stream some Diablo 2 tonight. No promises. It depends on what Red or Riley's up to tonight and if they stream or not. And also, if I'm just in the mood later tonight, I might just hop on for a Monday night stream. And at the very least, tomorrow I will go over the newswire for the event week for Red Dead Online. We'll see what happens tomorrow on Red Dead Online. And then the next installment of the GB Cast will hopefully be on Wednesday. So going forward, for now, maybe it'll become a permanent thing. I hope so, because I enjoy doing this. GBcast, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 Central, 6 p.m. UK time. And Thursday, I'm thinking a GTA video. So I've got a GTA rant video I'm brewing. A Griefer themed rant video. So that's probably what that video is going to be. And then, of course, on the weekend, our Red Dead Online streams. Saturday, PS4, and Sunday, Xbox One. So that's the schedule. Let's see, you just ordered Ghost of Tsushima, King Flush? Well, I sincerely hope you enjoy it. It's an absolutely beautiful game. It is amazing. Especially if you like samurai and ninja stuff and the history of feudal Japan and the code of the samurai. It's awesome. It is amazing. The music is great. The world is great. The characters are great. It is a beautiful game. Sucker Punch did a fantastic job building Ghost of Tsushima. But before we go, let's say goodbye to some of you. Ben, Dark MatterWolf, Riley, along with Sinister and Ramking, Ruben, along with, let's see, where else do we have? Sinister was also here. DeForest Smith was here. Luke was here. White Fang was here, along with John Steve, George Bonson, Super Psycho, Dark MatterWolf, Rasper, along with, let's see, UG Outlaw was here earlier. Let's see, Antrix was here. We haven't seen Antrix in a while, so good to see him again. Hope he's doing well. And Bigfoot, thanks again for stopping by and let me know how Randy's doing. I'm sorry he lost his job. I know he's going through a tough time. I hope that things get better for him. I hope that he's able to bounce back. And once again, King Flush, I really do hope you enjoy. And let's see, Ben was here. Eldavo was here. Samari was here. Kari was here. Fire was here, along with Jeremy Clay. Red, the 8-bit dinosaur, was here. And who else was here? John Steve. Cannadine was here. I haven't seen Cannadine in a while. Untouchable Raider was also here. Devil Dog was here. So I do appreciate all of you. Heartless Toaster was also here. I appreciate all of you for being here. And I hope you all enjoyed the GBcast so far. If you are, a like would be greatly appreciated. And hopefully, I will see you all. Yeah, I'm dodging it. Look, you can post the comment, Ruben. It doesn't mean I have to acknowledge it or read it. So there. Out of sight, out of mind, as the old saying goes. But anyways, the next installment of the GBcast is coming up on Wednesday, 12 Central, 6 p.m. UK. By the way, join our Discord if you want to be more involved with the GBcast. We do have a GBcast room where you can post what you'd like to see covered in future GBcasts. And hopefully in the future, we'll also have guests and specials and all other good stuff as well. And till then, I hope to see you on Wednesday for the next installment of the GBcast. And as always, from the bottom of my heart, from me to each and every one of you, as always,